Hey everyone, it's Banshee here. I'm just going to go over the review with you really quickly. And I'm doing it on a separate sheet of paper, but I have all the problems in front of me on my computer. Number one, a number J plus 20.5 is greater than or equal to 50. Now this one is nice and easy. We get to write it as we read it. So a number J plus 20.5 is greater than or equal to 50. So it's greater than or equal to 50. All right, number two. A number R multiplied by 2 is less than negative 14. So a number R multiplied by 2 is less than negative 14. Number three, a number P is no less than negative 6. So if it's no less than negative 6, it can be negative 6 or it will be bigger. So it's greater than or equal to negative 6. Number four, a number M is at least 25. If it's at least 25, it can be equal to 25 or it'll be bigger. So it's greater than or equal to. Number five, a number R added to 12 is no more than 10. So you could do R plus 12 or 12 plus R, it won't matter. And if this is no more than 10, it can be equal to 10 or it'll be less than, but it's not going to be bigger than, so it's less than or equal to. Number six, they want us to graph this one. So it's an open circle on the 8, and it's going to the left. So this is going to be x is less than 8. Okay, because it can't be 8, it's decreasing. And for this one, you have a closed circle on negative 5, but it's going to the right. So x is going to be greater than or equal to negative 5. All right, so I'm going to actually go right to 8 then, because I showed you 6 and 7 there. You have n minus 3 is less than negative 3. You want n all alone, so you need to add 3 to both sides, and you get n is less than 0. So it would be an open circle on 0 going to the left. All right, number 9, I have negative 6x is greater than or equal to negative 30. I want x all alone, so I need to divide both sides by negative 6. When you multiply or divide by a negative in an inequality, that sign will flip. Negative 30 divided by negative 6 is positive 5. So you have x is less than or equal to 5. And that's what your graph would look like, a closed circle on 5, and it's going to the left. Okay, we'll move on to number 10. I have 3/4 x is less than negative 6. Because this fraction is multiplying x, I need to divide, but when you divide by fractions, you keep the first fraction, you make the sign multiplication, and then you flip it. So you're really just multiplying by the reciprocal, or 4/3 on both sides. So that cancels on the left. Negative 6 times 4 is negative 24. 1 times 3 is 3. Negative 24 divided by 3 is negative 8. So when you go to graph this, it'll be an open circle on negative 8 going to the left because x is less than. All right, number 11. I have 3v minus 7 is greater than or equal to negative 16. I need to add 7 to both sides. I get 3v is greater than or equal to -9. I need to divide both sides by 3. I get v is greater than or equal to -3. So when I go to graph this, it'll be a closed circle on -3 going to the right. All right, number 12. I have -3x plus 6 all over 5 is greater than 6. I need to multiply both sides by 5 to get rid of that denominator. I have -3x plus 6 is greater than 30. Subtract 6 on both sides. I get -3x is greater than 24. Divide both sides by -3, and remember that sign will flip. 24 divided by -3 is -8, so you have x is less than -8. And when you go to graph it, it'll be a open circle on -8, and it's going to the left because it is less than. All right, number 13. I have 5m is greater than or equal to -5m plus 20. I want all my m's on one side, so I'm going to add 5m to both sides. 5m's plus 5m's is 10m's, and that's greater than or equal to 20. I need to divide both sides by 10 to get m all alone, so you get m is greater than or equal to 2. So when you go to graph this, it'll be a closed circle on 2 going to the right. All right, now I'm going to move on, number 14. I have 8y's plus 6 minus 2y is greater than 3 times the quantity y plus 3. I'm looking at my left side first, and I'm going to combine like terms. So I have 8y's minus 2y's, so the sign in front matters. 8y's minus 2y's is 6y's, and that positive 6 comes down, and the sign will stay. And on the right-hand side, I need to distribute because that 3 is glued to the parentheses. 3 times y is 3y. 3 times 3 is 9. And again, I want all my y's on one side, so I'm going to subtract 3y on both sides. That way I know my y will be positive over here. I have 3y plus 6 is greater than 9. I need to move that 6 over by subtracting it on both sides. That way my y is alone. 9 minus 6 is 3. Divide both sides by 3. I get y is greater than 1. So when you go to graph this, it'll be a closed circle on the 1. Or I'm sorry, an open circle on the 1 going to the right. All right, we'll move on to number 15. I have 6 times the absolute value, 3x minus 10, is greater than 12. I need to first divide both sides by 6 to get rid of that number outside of the absolute value expression. 12 divided by 6 is 2. And now that this symbol is all alone, I can go ahead and make my 2 separate equations. So I have 3x minus 10 is greater than 2, and 3x minus 10 is less than -2. Add 10 to both sides. I have 3x is greater than 12, or x is greater than 4. Add 10 to both sides here. I have 3x is less than 8, or x is less than 8 over 3. And 8 over 3, if you divide that, that's about 2.6. So when you go to graph this, this is an or statement. You will have an open circle on the 4 going to the right because x is bigger than 4, or you have an open circle about 2.6 going to the left because x is less than that. All right, now I'm looking at number 16. I have negative 4 is less than or equal to x plus 2, which is less than 6. I need to subtract 2 on all sides. I get negative 6 is less than or equal to x, which is less than 4. So this is an and statement. X is between negative 6 and 4. So when you go to graph this, you would have a closed circle on negative 6, an open circle on the 4, and they would be joined together. Number 17, I have 6 times the quantity x minus 3 is less than negative 15, or 3 times the quantity 2x minus 3 is greater than 15. I'm going to look at the first one, and because that 6 is glued, I need to multiply or distribute. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times negative 3 is negative 18. Same thing on the other side, you have to distribute. 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times negative 3 is negative 9. And that's greater than 15. I'm going to go ahead and solve the one on the left first. I need to add 18 to both sides. I get 6x is less than 3. Divide both sides by 6. 3 divided by 6 is not 2. It is just going to be a half. So x is less than a half. Other side, I need to add 9 to both sides. I get 6x is greater than 24. Divide both sides by 6. I get x is greater than 4. So when you go to graph it, it is going to be an open circle on 1/2 going to the left and an open circle on 4 going to the right. Okay, now I'm looking at Part A. So an animal shelter has weekly fixed expenses of $7.50. Each animal in the shelter costs an additional $6 a week. During the summer months, the weekly expenses are at least $1,170. Write and solve an inequality to find the number of animals at the shelter for the expenses to be at least $1,170 a week. Okay. So I'm looking at number 18, and we are going to do letter A first. So it says write an inequality to find the number of animals or at the shelter for expenses to be at least $1,170 a week. Okay, so if expenses have to be at least $1,170 a week, it has to be greater than or equal to $1,170. Now it has a fixed weekly expense of $7.50. And then each animal costs another $6. So it's $7.50 for the expense plus another $6 per animal. And they wanted us to write and solve an inequality to find the number of animals, so A, for it to be at least 1,170. So I'm going to subtract $7.50 on both sides. So I have 1,170 minus 750, which is 420. So I have 6A is greater than or equal to 420. I need to divide both sides by 6, and I get greater than, A is greater than or equal to 70. So they need at least 70 animals. Okay, now they're saying for B, during the winter months, the weekly expenses are at most, so this is different, at most 900. Write and solve an inequality for it to be at most $900 a week. Okay, well, if it's at most 900 for the weekly expenses, and we have to write and solve an inequality to find the number of animals, so I'm still solving for A. So if it's at most 900, that means it's going to be less than or equal to 900. But we still have the fixed weekly expenses of $7.50. And I am still adding the $6 per animal. So I'm still solving for A, and I still need to subtract $7.50 on both sides. I get 6A is less than or equal to 150. And then I need to divide both sides by 6. I get A is less than or equal to 25. Thinking of quarters, 6 quarters would be $1.50. So at most, you could have 25 animals.